What is up everyone? Welcome to another networking related video. This is not going to be part of the main network series. This is just going to be a little side video because it's not a crazy change, but it is a really cool change that I think is going to open up a few more doors for me in the future. So I'm going to unbox this particular item and explain why I'm making this change. Now, this box and this product within the box, I've had it for about 4 months, maybe, yeah, 3 to 4 months, somewhere around there. I bought it from the man himself, Dave, from the wonderful YouTube channel Geekanoids. I'll put a link to his channel down in the video description. I recently got the PowerBook from him, and he fired me a message about this, and I bought this from him as well. And this morning, coincidentally, I'd planned to record this video today, but this morning he sent me another message with yet another Apple product that I'll be purchasing from him. So doing quite a few deals with Dave at the moment. So let's dig into this one. I'd also like to say a big thanks to Dave with this particular product. He sent me along some additional bits and bobs as gifts, which was extremely generous. So Dave, I know I've already said thank you via message, but just a quick thank you on video for your generosity. You really didn't have to send me that extra stuff. That was very kind of you. So in the box we have, let's have a look. Aha, yes indeed. A couple of PowerBook G4 discs. As you guys know, Dave sold me a PowerBook G4 12-inch, and these are indeed some discs. These are the actual software reinstall discs for the PowerBook, which is really cool. So that does add to the completeness of my PowerBook bundle. Very much appreciated, Dave. Thank you for digging those out. And of course, onto the main attraction. Haha! This is the proper shipping carton for this, by the way. It fit perfectly. So that's one really awesome thing about Dave. He keeps everything in pretty much mint condition. So here it is. This is an AirPort Time Capsule. I will say it is extraordinarily heavy. It really is. It weighs a ton. So for those of you who are not familiar with my wireless network, downstairs as my main wireless access point, I have an AirPort Extreme, which looks identical to this. This is of course a time capsule, and this basically means it's an AirPort Extreme. It does everything that an AirPort Extreme does, but it also has a hard drive in it, in this case 2 terabytes. I believe they made this model in 2 terabytes and 3 terabytes. This one's the 2 terabyte model. It's got a hard drive in it, and it works flawlessly with Time Machine and stuff, but I believe you can access it just as a normal drive on the network as well. Looking forward to exploring that. Why have I purchased this? Well, if I do a little pan shot over, professional camera angle incoming, you guys can see I use a little AirPort Express in my office. Now this has been absolutely flawless, and it has been ideal for bridging the gap in Wi-Fi, because there's a very thick wall in between my office and the kitchen and the rest of the house. So it's been sort of backing up the AirPort Extreme very nicely and providing full signal Wi-Fi coverage over the whole house. However, I decided when Dave sent me a message about the time capsule, I didn't plan on buying a time capsule, and to be honest, if he hadn't messaged me I probably wouldn't have. But I thought this would be an ideal upgrade for my office for a few reasons. Firstly, I believe this is the 802.11 AC version. My AirPort Extreme is AC, but the AirPort Express is 802.11n, so it's the previous sort of revision, and therefore maybe a little bit slower. Probably won't make that much difference in practice, to be perfectly honest, but it sort of matches. I get AC over this side of the house and AC over that side of the house if I make the upgrade, so that's really cool. Secondly, I'm always looking for more storage, so an additional 2 terabytes of storage means that maybe I can take some of the Time Machine duties away from some of the automation on my Mac Mini and some of the drives that I have connected to that, move them to the AirPort Time Capsule. It's getting confusing with all these different names. Move those duties to the time capsule and then free up some space on my other system for some other things, because I do use Time Machine with all of the Macs in the house. They back up automatically through the Mac Mini, so I could do quite a few of them onto 2 terabytes. So that'll be very handy. And thirdly, the most important thing, I was keen on the idea of opening up freedom of another AirPort Express to use in my home as a music player, just like I do down in the kitchen. Yeah, I've got another airport base station. There's another Express down in the kitchen, but that one is not connected via Ethernet. That one is just as is, standalone, and I use it for AirPlay. It pinches Wi-Fi from this one up here, and it works surprisingly well. So it frees up my second Airport Express, the one that I currently have hooked up in here, for more music duties somewhere else in the house. Of course, you can't. There's no audio output on these. I'm not going to miss it in here, and it'll be good to put the Airport Express to better use somewhere else in the home where I want some music playback. So, all rambling aside, let's dig into it. The box is in mint brand new condition. It's still got the plastic on the outside, which is crazy. It's only the bottom piece that's been removed. So, without further ado, let's just do the unboxing. Man, that is satisfying. I remember that with my Airport Extreme. So here we go. Pretty big beast. It's a nice bit of kit. Definitely weightier than the previous one, or the my other one. Sorry. These are technically from the same generation. I don't know if they came out on the same day. I believe they did. Looking in the bottom, we have the power cable. We're not going to remove the power cable because I have a custom power cable feeding that Airport Express from my UPS. To retain Wi-Fi when we have a power cut. So I will just continue to use that power cable, and this one can sit in here, and I will remember that it's there in case I need it. I've also done the same with the Airport Express box. The power cable that I was using for that I've put back in the Airport Express box, or at least it's headed that way. I'm not sure if it's actually made it yet. So that's it for the package. What I will do is, because this is wrapped up in its original packaging very carefully. Wow, incredible, incredible. I just would not be able to retain packaging this neatly when buying something. Look at this. It's pretty much brand new, folks. Look at this. My word. There we go. Man, that is so white and shiny. So I'm going to keep this, and there's no way that I'd be able to package it up like Dave did, but I'll keep it anyway. This is a solid product. It is so hefty and heavy, quite significantly heavier than the other one from memory. So let's take a little quick look around it. Very basic design. It's sort of just like a column of white plastic with a black Apple logo on top. Very sleek. On the bottom, we've got a little bit of grippiness to the black surface here, as well as ventilation. It kind of looks as if there'd be a fan in here, but I doubt there's a fan in here. I'm not 100% sure though, I've never owned one of these, but there's definitely ventilation there. And on the back, on the front first rather, we've got an indication LED. Only one LED on this, but it tells you everything you need to know. If it's anything other than green, it's time to jump into Airport Utility and see why it's complaining. At the bottom, one of the best things about these is they have built-in power supplies. All of the airport products have built-in power supplies. It's really nice not to have transformers hanging about everywhere. So standard figure of 8. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 gigabit network connections. I believe these are LAN ports, and then this is your WAN port. And then here we have a USB port. I believe this is probably USB 2.0, although I'm not 100% certain. This is for connecting your printer, or I believe additional hard drives. I'm not sure if that's supported. I'm not an expert on this product line, but I don't see why not. So I'm going to tidy up a little bit, and then let's deploy it and see what happens. So on top of my network cabinet, things are pretty simple. I wanted an access point at this end of the house, as I explained, so I've just got this little Airport Express. It's connected to power and connected to network, just 2 connections, very simple. So we're going to rock the boat a little bit and just yank it out of the network. I'm sure that will be completely fine. These tend to be pretty easily plug and play. The Airport Utility wasn't as sort of straightforward as I thought it would be initially. But now that I'm used to it and used to some of its quirks, I kind of understand the whole airport system, and yeah, I get on with it pretty well. If I was going to buy this stuff again, I'm not sure if I'd go for the Apple stuff. You know, it's hard to say because there are so many brilliant Wi-Fi things on the market at the moment. You know, some fantastic things from Ubiquiti and all sorts of different companies. Apologies for knocking the tripod there, folks. As you can see, that looks really gorgeous. It's got a big, tall sort of profile in comparison to the Express, but one thing I do like about it versus the Express is it blocks its own cables. You can no longer see the cables. For anyone curious, all of these Apple devices have the exact same footprint. So I grab the AirPort Express, it fits perfectly on top of there, and I could grab an Apple TV 2nd generation or 3rd generation, it would also fit perfectly on top of there. So all identical footprints, but these are kind of like, the latest AirPort Express is pretty much a generation older than these products, because this only supports up to 802.11n, as I explained. No big deal though, in practice, unless you're doing loads and loads of file transfers over Wi-Fi or whatever, it's really not going to make that much difference. You know, surfing the web and stuff is, you're really not going to see the difference. So I now have this spare and hanging around ready to be deployed somewhere else in the home for music enjoyment. But there we go. AirPort Time Capsule in place. Let's try and configure it. As you can see, blinking orange light means it's not configured, or at least it needs some kind of attention. So let's take a look. Okay, so you get this cool little diagram. Let's take a little look. It recognises IMNCHQ. As you can see here, we've got kind of like a really easy to understand layout. This is one thing I like about this software. So the internet is labelled up there, and then you guys can see the various access points. So it can see already that this one is connected directly to the network as an access point. We just need to update it or whatever, or sort it out, you know, configure it. Living room is up and running. That's the main access point, I'd say, even though it's in a terrible location. That's something I want to address in the future. IMNCHQ was this AirPort Express. It's currently offline. And yeah, it's just, as you can see, put a little warning up. And kitchen connected via the dotted line, because it is connected via Wi-Fi only for iTunes AirPlay. And it works really well. So I wonder if we can forget this one. There we go. That makes our diagram a little bit clearer. So let's update this guy. Enter the password to view more information about this base station. Password, hey? I am feeling that Dave had a password on this thing, and I don't know it. Did he tell me the password? I'm going to look over our messages. So I don't have the password, but that's not a big deal. This happened with the AirPort Express that I got donated as well. I got a little screwdriver here, and there's a little button on the back. If I jab this in, there we go. Now, not sure if I have to hold it down. Aha, there we go. So this creates like a little soft reset type dealio and allows you to alter the settings of your airport base station for, I believe, is it 3 minutes, 3 or 5 minutes after pressing it, which is cool because if you don't alter anything then it goes back to factory settings. So I'll pop you back on the tripod. Internal disk needs repair, soft reset, and of course that's not my settings. So I'm in CHQ. Password. Magical. It has not saved anything. Thank you. So I'm going to do it all again. Okay, folks, you have to do it a tab at a time and update. So again, I'm in CHQ. This is my 3rd time now. I think this is just taking the mick out of me on purpose because I said I was getting used to Airport Utility at the beginning of the video, and clearly I was lying. So it updates after every stage, which is fine. So updating, I guess that makes sense. It just could tell you before you move tab. It could be like, warning, you've made changes. Do you want to update these changes? And I could be like, oh yes, I do. But it doesn't do that. I would eventually like to get the kitchen one hardwired. It would probably be simple enough because the kitchen is directly underneath my office. So it'd just be a case of dropping a cable down to the kitchen, which would be fairly okay, I think. But that's something I'll have to see about doing in the future. What I want to do first is eliminate my power line adapters. That's my main goal for the next update to my network. Obviously you guys will see a big server update, but in terms of the network itself, I really want to eliminate power line. As you guys know, my network rack talks to my living room via power line at the moment, and it is very good, you know, it's fine, but I would like to get it hardwired if I could, and also change the location of my AirPort Extreme down there. I've seen these cool wall mount brackets for the AirPort Extreme that definitely look awesome, and I could mount it to the wall downstairs up quite high to get really good coverage in the upstairs rooms over that side of the house as well. Man, this is taking a while to update. I think I'll pause the camera and just, yeah, show you guys the end result. So after a little bit of persuasion, I've managed to get the AirPort to change name. It's quite a stubborn little one. I'm now updating the wireless network settings. So the base station itself is set up. As you can see, I'm NCHQ. Now it's just doing a extension of my existing wireless network as part of Starship. And then we can try and configure the hard drive again and see what's going on with that. But we're getting there in little chunks. Check it out, guys. This couldn't look more mangled if I tried. I did it wrong. You don't click on extend a wireless network. You click on... oh, that's a little bit better. You click on, yeah, create a wireless network and just make sure it has an identical name. I'd forgotten that part. I made that mistake last time, and in trying not to make the same mistake, I made the same mistake. If you press extend a network, it extends it via Wi-Fi, which is, you know, horrendous. So, yeah, we're getting there. It's now correct on the diagram. Just, where have they gone now? Oh, God. We now have the time capsule fully up and running. The disk needed repair thing, all I did was click on the AirPort and hit restart. That seemed to help. Now I've lost my other base stations, but that's not a problem. I think they just need a reboot, so I'm going to do that now, and then we should be back in luck. Alright guys, we're one step closer. The kitchen is connected, and as you can see, it's appropriately connected to the closest base station. The kitchen AirPort Express is practically directly underneath that time capsule. All I'm waiting for now is the living room, main AirPort Express. No, AirPort Extreme. This is getting so confusing. I think I must have referred to things incorrectly in this video, so while editing I'm going to have to pay attention and put little titles if I'm talking about one of the other pieces of equipment that I don't really know. Anyway, whatever. So after about 20 minutes, we are finally back up and running. We have our new time capsule 2TB in IMNCHQ. We have our AirPort Extreme in our living room, which we've always had, and also the kitchen AirPort Express, just for playing music, pretty much. So yeah, basically what happened was my power line adapters decided to unsync themselves halfway through my troubleshooting, or maybe at the very beginning of the troubleshooting. So I was restarting my AirPort and everything, and I just couldn't figure out what was going on. And then I reconfigured it and realised that I'd reconfigured it in its own little network bubble down there with my laptop. And I came back up here and it was not detected on the network at all. So I was like, hang on a second, it's not connected. So I restarted my switch and I was like, what the heck is going on? And yeah, it was the power line adapters just threw themselves out of whack for a bit. And that's, you know, one reason why I would love to switch to getting a proper line down from my network rack to the living room. That would be wonderful. So, you know, if I could get 2 runs of Cat 6 down there, somehow, just one for the AirPort and then one for a hardwired switch, just a little 8-port or something behind the entertainment setup to connect everything directly to the switch up here. That would be awesome, it really would. I mean, I could run one line down there for the AirPort and then connect a switch to one of the AirPort's LAN ports. That would have, you know, pretty much the exact same effect. But then, of course, I wouldn't, if something went wrong with the AirPort stuff, I'd still have my LAN connection if I could run a dedicated wired network down there for that, a dedicated line. So yeah, I'd love to do that in the future, I really would, and that is probably the next logical upgrade for my home network. Then I could put the power line adapters to better use somewhere else, aka the kitchen, to feed this little guy. So yeah, I'm going to think about all of this, folks, and I'm going to do a little bit of a network upgrade sometime in the winter. You guys have got a living room upgrade video to look forward to before then. Which is pretty much nearly done. It's just so difficult to try and record the outro of that at the moment, because that's in the heart of the home. And yeah, so lots of cool stuff to come, folks. Hope you've all enjoyed this little update. I know I haven't configured Time Machine in this video, but that's because probably what's going to happen is I will configure the Time Machine in this time capsule after deploying my new Mac Mini server that I unboxed. I haven't deployed that yet, so you don't have to worry. I haven't, you know, neglected you guys in terms of a video of that process. I haven't done it yet, so as soon as I do it, I'll video that process. Once I have that whole server configured with all of my backups, I can then focus on the time capsule, because probably what I'll do is back up that entire server, excluding the external disks, but just like certain disks to the time capsule. I think that'll be really handy and a nice extra layer of redundancy. Not something that I would have gone out of my way to purchase, but Dave gave me a wonderful deal, and storage is storage, backup is backup, so it'll be very handy. Plus I get the wireless AC this end, and I did enable it. I noticed while fiddling around in the airport utility, you have to enable it independently of the 2.4 gigahertz, which is fine. It wasn't enabled in the living room. Can you believe that? Okay, yeah, that's fine. So we're all sorted, and I'm all happy with this. So thank you for watching, everyone. And as always, I'll see you in the next video, whatever that may be.